play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions in the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create thoughts. Never waste time. You got one shot. You got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5. No mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way. What I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dutchess, and my channel is Dutchess Discussions, where we talk about true crime and missing cases. I appreciate all of you joining me tonight. We have a very special guest with us tonight, and we're going to be talking about the case of missing Amber Rae Johnston. I've been covering this case since February of 2022, and Amber Rae Johnston has been missing since August of 2021. She went missing when she was 36 years old. She has blonde hair and blue eyes. She is 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighs 160 pounds. She may be either in Arizona, North Carolina, South Carolina, or possibly Nevada. And I've been working on this case locally here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, as her former boyfriend resides here in this area. And tonight I have a couple of special guests that are with me. And one of those guests is Amber Rae Johnston's mother, Sharon. So if you guys will please give her a warm welcome. Thank you, Sharon, for being here. We also have one of my very good friends, BVK. Thank you for being here. BVK, I really appreciate you being here. She's made this awesome whiteboard in the back, if you guys can see that, for Amber Rae. Check that out, guys. It's beautiful. So I just want to say hey to everybody. I really appreciate everyone being here and coming by to hear this very important discussion tonight about this case. We want to hear from Miss Sharon and just talk about the events that have transpired since August of 2021 and where we are today, almost a year later. So I just want to welcome Sharon. Thank you for being here. And this is Amber's daughter?
Yeah, this is Nevaeh, her oldest daughter.
Hi, Nevaeh. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
We are going to do everything we can to keep looking for your mom. If there's anything that we can do, you let us know, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
So what would you like to start out with tonight, Sharon?
Oh, Dutchie, I'm not real sure. It's been going on.
Well, we can share her poster. I do have her poster here. Let me share my screen. Get over here. There we go. Let's see if we can. Hang on, let me see if I can fix this. It's not wanting to let me log in. There we go. Get over here. Okay, let me know if you guys can see this.
Yeah.
Yes, looks good.
So this is Rae Johnston's missing poster. She went missing, we think, around August 19th. We're thinking mid-August. There are some dates that are not really laid down in stone, but we do believe that it was mid-August that she took a Greyhound bus out of Bullhead City, Arizona. At that time, Rae Johnston was 36 years old. She is now 37. She is a white female with blonde hair and blue eyes. She is 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighs 160 pounds. In this picture, this is her former Jarrett Ward. This is one of the last people to probably see her, and we're going to get into that information here shortly. He said she was going to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. However, her mother believes that, based on some Facebook posts, that she may have been headed back to Pennsylvania, where her mother lives. As this case has progressed, we have come upon some other information that the detective has told the mother in regards to where she had possibly gotten off the bus and didn't reboard, the last place that her phone pinged. Um, these are all very important things in this case because when you have someone who is supposed to be on a bus route and they're getting off of a bus that's not at a stop, when you have their phone pinging somewhere that's not necessarily on a bus route to where they're supposed to be going, it's odd. It's very odd. Also, there's been no social media activity or contact since August 19th when there was a video posted on her Facebook page of a bus trip that we established was going through I-20 into Birmingham, Alabama. That doesn't coincide with the information the detective gave us because on the 19th, she was apparently getting off a bus somewhere else and didn't get back on. So that doesn't, a lot of these things don't add up. And that's what we're here to talk about is the order of events and how this plays into what information we have on this missing poster. Rae Johnston does have a NamUs case number. That case number is missing persons 89959. And she does have a case number with Bullhead City Police Department. And the detective there is Detective Sharp. So if anybody has any type of information, if you have seen Rae Johnston, please reach out to the Bullhead City Police Department. My mods will be dropping that information in the chat for you to, if you can share this video, if you can share her flyer. I do have a Facebook page. My mods will drop that also, where you can share this flyer out onto your social media. Okay. So, Sharon, when is the last time that you spoke with your daughter before she went missing?
Last time I actually spoke to her on the phone that I know that it was her was, I have it written down, it was July 12th. And she was acting really paranoid, and she had police come to my house and my mom's house, and she had people come into my house thinking that someone was going to harm us. And that's the last time that I can actually say I verbally touched her. And I was really worried. I thought she was using drugs, and I was worried. And I'm like, you got to quit doing this. And the police in PA have the records of that because they went to our house. And then I called her. She goes, I'm just so worried about you. I don't know what Jarrett and his friends are going to do to you. So that's kind of the last verbal. And then she started writing stuff like a couple of days later. And I asked her, I said, you need to go and maybe get some mental health. And can you please try to get some mental health or something? At the beginning of July of that year, she was fine. We were carrying on conversations in the beginning of July of 2021, and she was fine. And
Right.
and her daughter was talking to her in June a lot, and she was fine. So everything really transpired from that July till that August, basically about a month.
Okay.
So anyways, she got really angry with me and wrote some, really angry messages. And throughout all of her best friends, through that 2 weeks from July 15th on, all of her best friends also got these messages, which I have because they sent them to me. Like she was saying, you're in on it, you're this, you're no good, you're out, my mom's going to kill me. All these things that just didn't seem like Amber. It was like almost like someone was alienating all of her friends. That's how I felt. Now that I look back, now that everyone started coming forward through this.
Mm-hmm.
First, I just thought, oh, she's mad at me. She's blowing off her steam. Jarrett would contact me and say, she's going home. And she was in Las Vegas. And so I just figured eventually that, I'd find her. He was leaving, whatever. She was going back, and then things would go on. She does have. Someone wrote, does she have any history of mental illness? She was paranoid, and I believe it was a lot from the drugs, honestly. She had a lot of paranoia.
And was there any history of any mental health issues that were, passed down in the family? Do you think, like, was there anxiety, depression? Do you think any of those things might have contributed? Anything that you don't have to necessarily speak on, but were there possibly things that Amber went through in her life that may have contributed to her use of drugs? Which you don't have to specifically tell us, but but there may be things that may have contributed to that.
I just think
I
that
think it's the people that she surrounded herself with at young ages. Like when she was like a teenager, like she got into like wrong crowds and stuff. And I think it's like the people that she let, because she would let get in the wrong crowds and stuff. So I don't necessarily think that like she just woke up and then one day she was crazy. I think she just it's the wrong crowds, the wrong people.
and even at that point when she was home, she was a worker. I mean, she worked all the time, and she really, she was a go-getter. It wasn't like she was like this, and this wasn't up until the time she left and went to Myrtle Beach, to be honest with you.
Right.
She had the drug issues, but they were back and forth, and but she was able to work. She was.
Okay, so after that phone call that you had with her, we move forward into August, and it looks like that on August the 8th, the Bullhead City Police Department has an interaction with Amber. It looks like there was a welfare check that was called to a potential drowning incident near Bullhead City in the Colorado River. What can you tell me about that?
I didn't find out about that till much later in the investigation. Even the police didn't know about it. But I had called her landlord. She was staying at Laughlin Riverview Resorts, and that was in Bullhead City, right close to the Colorado River.
Right.
And I had asked her, does Amber seem to be like acting like she's using or she's on drugs? And she kind of said, well, I don't really know her, but no. I mean, she actually was like she just seemed like a normal person. And anyway, she goes, but there was this weird incident. And she goes, I never seen the guy before. But what happened was the police came here and they were questioning about her. And there was an incident of a possible drowning. And that's when I contacted the police and got the police report on it. And there was a guy there, and he had her purse and he had everything there, which Amber was very paranoid about anybody taking anything of hers. She didn't have a lot because she moved a lot. They lived homeless, her and Jarrett, and she was very paranoid. He would take her phone and she would get it back. I mean, this was something I just can't see her for a guy that she knew for 2 days giving him her stuff. But anyways,
Right.
The police came and he said, I've only known her for 2 days. Her flip-flops are up there. She went in the water. She left her purse and belongings here and didn't come back. So they had drones go in. They were going to have divers go in, but they were on another case. They had video. They were looking. They seen nothing in the Colorado River. And so many hours later, don't quote me because I'm not real sure. I have the police report here.
Well, I do have the police report. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. And it did say that he spoke with the Jason Alexander Rice, and Jason advised that he and Amber Rae Johnston were going down to the river for a short period of time. Jason stated that he did not know Amber very well. He had only met her 2 days ago. Jason advised the officer that Amber was in the water swimming when he was going to go get a floating device from the parking lot. And then Jason advised he had returned and did not see Amber anywhere. And Jason stated he was not sure if she was in the water or if she had just walked away. Which is just very interesting, just how that all went down. I mean, I don't know. It is very odd, but I do see that the officer English went to Amber's residence to check if she was there, but was unable to locate her. And Officer English provided a photo of Amber's driver's license, which was confirmed by Jason to be Amber.
Yeah.
And he did ask Jason if he had any of Amber's belongings. He stated that she left her purse, cell phone, wallet, and other miscellaneous items. And then it says the officer took Amber's belongings in his patrol car and located a Pennsylvania driver's license in her purse. And then he asked Jason for a description of what Amber was wearing. And then he gives the description of the tank top, blue jean shorts, no shoes. And he did say she was swimming when he left and that her flip-flops were on the riverbank.
Right.
And it did say that a missing form was filled out and entered into the NCIC as a missing person. Very interesting.
And we need to also note that this Jason Alexander Rice is a very sketchy man. And we also need to note in here, in this police report, he kept stating to the officer over and over that he had only known her for 2 days. I mean, over and over. But yet had her belongings. Yes.
It just feels wrong. Like something doesn't add up about that.
Right. And then what happened was so many hours later, Armenta was her, which I've spoken to her. She was the landlord at the Lachlan River View Resort. She said all of a sudden she's seen Amber coming in. Now, Amber was only there for 2 months. And I said, are you sure it was Amber? And she said yes. So she called the police and said, hey, Amber just walked in. Now, the funny thing is, how did Amber get in her apartment if they had all her keys, her purse, and everything? So I was real confused about that. But apparently the police had came. They had video cam. And I do have a call in to Detective Sharp. I would like to look at that video cam to verify it really was Amber. I'm not saying that it wasn't, but they explained to her how much it cost to look at the Colorado River, and they explained everything. And they didn't really how serious the situation was. So from there,
Right.
I know they wore body cam footage. There was footage. They said when they went there, and they thought I guess they were pretty sure it was her, and they returned her stuff. So that
And
is
I wanted to address Raylaw just real quickly. Raylaw, if you are near Winston, I would really like it if someone could go by the Greyhound bus station in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and put up more flyers of Amber in that area. And if you need flyers, I can send you some via mail, or you are more than welcome to contact me via email, and I'll be happy to send you a flyer that you can download and print. I would be really, really grateful. I've already actually been there myself and put out flyers, but a lot of times flyers get taken down and they get removed. So I have spent a lot of time backtracking places that I have been before to rehang flyers because people have taken them down. So that always does help. So God bless you, Raylaw. I really appreciate that, and I know Sharon does too.
thank you.
And I'd also like to add in this report that when the officer made contact with Jason, that it was not even, he didn't even check his license or nothing. It was just a verbal saying that's who he was. I believe if they would have checked this man's record, they would have probably took him to jail that day. So I just wanted to make that point that, he was never checked out through the police department that day. It was just a verbal saying he was this man. And I was going to answer, somebody in the chat asked if he had background. Yes, very extensive
Yes,
background.
dangerous.
And
Yes.
another thing is that Jarrett Ward, when he supposedly came back to Myrtle Beach when they broke up, he was staying at his friend's in Las Vegas. I don't know who his friend was, but he said, I was staying at a friend's in Las Vegas, Nevada. From my understanding, that's where Mr. Rice is from.
Yes.
Correct. Correct.
And Jarrett Ward told me that himself. So how Mr. Rice got into Bullhead and got involved with Amber, I'm totally confused on that as well.
Elizabeth Lander, I have not put them up at a bus station in Charlotte. We were told, well, Sharon was told by Jarrett Ward, the former boyfriend, that she used his EBT card at a Flying J truck stop, which is on Statesville Avenue, which is just on the right on the outskirts of Charlotte, which is near Sugar Creek. Because my father used to own a business in Charlotte. I know exactly where that is. There's only one Flying J Pilot truck stop, and it's on Statesville Avenue. So now we didn't know at the time that her phone actually pinged in somewhere in Charlotte. We don't know if it was at the Flying J specifically, but that's something that Detective Sharp did tell Sharon. And we found that out not too long ago. About the time that she found out that apparently Amber got off the Greyhound bus in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and did not reboard. That was something we didn't know initially in the beginning. It's just been a series of steps and phone calls. So if you know where the Flying J is, if anybody's in that area near Statesville Avenue, if you know where that is, put it in the chat. Let me know. If you guys can send me an email, I'll be happy to send you a flyer. And you guys can, because that we want to know why they didn't go to check the footage, because the Flying J is going to have camera footage just like the Greyhound bus stations. That's one of my biggest hangups, is why law enforcement isn't doing more. Why are they not getting these tapes to clarify that it's really her? It doesn't make any sense. Hey, Krama Mama, I just want you to know that I'm praying for you, hun. I hope that you're okay. The charges that he has is pretty extensive. Dangerous drug charges, the kind that would probably align with something like fentanyl, um, because that's to be in possession and in amounts that are being trafficked, and also extreme violence like harassment, assault, things like that, multiple charges. So nothing good. I can tell you that. It makes me nervous to think that she was hanging out with this guy, because I really just want to know, did she ever even get a chance to take that bus out of Bullhead City? So that's why we have to ask all these questions, because just because somebody struggles with addiction doesn't mean their life doesn't matter, and that her mother and her daughter here um, don't still love her and don't still want her to be found safe and come home. So that's why this case is it's really close to me. I just want to
Every
know
missing
that,
person.
her life matters too.
She was a kind soul, and you know what? All she wanted was loved.
Yeah. That's something that you have repeatedly told me, Sharon, was that, and that's something that her friends have told me. And that's something that her ex Chase has told me, that she was one of the most loving, kind people, that she would give the shirt off her back. She would help anyone. She would never hurt anyone. That she loved her kids, that she talked about her kids all the time.
Yeah,
And they can't bear to think that somebody has done something to harm her. And I know that you love her and miss her very much. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here supporting you, because we want your daughter to come home too.
We got you, Mama.
We got you.
I just feel like that if the police, took it seriously, I mean, I guess they just think she's just maybe just a nobody, but she isn't. And
That's
everybody
right.
deserves that. And I do feel that this case is solvable. And I just
Absolutely.
feel like we should at least talk to people, especially with some of the other things that we've uncovered about all her money being used and things like that as well.
Yeah. And we're going to get into that. After the August the 8th incident, with the police, um, Amber's mother didn't hear from her anymore after that. She was just posting some very wild things on Facebook, um, possibly indicating that she may return to Pennsylvania to do time in the county jail because she has a bench warrant. So I think Amber's mother was just, hoping that that was going to be the case. Sometime along the time that this incident happened in August 8th, we established that that is when the former boyfriend, Jarrett Ward from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, they were homeless together, guys. They traveled from and left and went out west. They were in Eureka, California. They were in Arizona. They were in Wyoming. They were in Nevada. They were just on the go. And apparently, they were having a tumultuous relationship, a lot of arguing. And at some point in August, Jarrett Ward explained to Sharon that he could not get along anymore with Amber and he was done. And he apparently left Bullhead City, and instead of going home to Myrtle Beach, he went to Las Vegas, Nevada, which was 90 miles northwest, and then proceeded to ask a Catholic church charity to buy him a bus ticket home a few days later. Now, did Detective Sharp tell you that that was supposedly about a couple of weeks before Amber got on this bus and disappeared.
Yes, he did. He said that he was home before all that. He was home a couple weeks in Myrtle Beach before all these transactions on her cards for these bus trips and everything were coming back. Or the whole bus trip was, he said, multiple pass used, pass changed, pass get on, and he didn't really understand them, is what he said.
Right. So we'll start with that. Jarrett Ward told Sharon that he left Las Vegas, Nevada on this paid bus trip and went back to Myrtle Beach because he was done with Amber. Okay.
Right.
And then Amber apparently is going to take this trip, and she's, Amber's mother's thinking she's going possibly home to Pennsylvania because she's got time to do. Her mother had already told her, listen, if you just come home and do the time, because of COVID, they're not going to want to keep you in there. Just come home, do what you got to do, and we'll get you into rehab, and, you can see the kids. And, so she kind of felt like maybe Amber would, if Jarrett wasn't around, maybe she would just come home, So she sets out on this bus trip, and how we know that is there was a Facebook video of this bus trip. Now, I just did a video yesterday in regards to this infamous bus trip that we keep referencing because it is the pinnacle, the crux of this case, where all of the mystery happens around the disappearance. It is all, I feel like, tied in to this Greyhound bus case. And, if you guys want to, we can take a look at that bus video. And if anyone hasn't seen it, we can watch that, and it will actually show you what post was on Facebook that was on her page on August the 19th of 2021. Amber is not seen in the video, and her voice is not heard on this video. However, it was posted live to her Facebook page. Correct?
I think it was live.
So can you guys put a 7 in the chat if you would like to take a look at this bus video? And I can play you the video from yesterday, and we can take a look at that video. And then we can also take a look at, on that same video, I actually made some phone calls to Greyhound, and I actually researched the specific routes if she were going to Pennsylvania, and the bus route if she was going to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I feel like this is a pinnacle point that it can help us in this case.
I'd also like to add, Dutch, there's no way that that video could be right unless the ticket was changed in Amarillo, Texas, and then went down to get on I-20. So there's just no way.
Right. And it seems like the detective would have mentioned a change there, but he didn't.
The detective never said she was there ever on her bus route, ever. She was not there. And that's what I kept telling him. How can this be on her phone? How can this be on her phone like she's there? Who had her phone? Was she even on that bus? But she was never there. Because her destination with her name, whoever did her passes, if she did it or somebody else, she was never near that area that bus video was taken. And if you look on that bus video on the left-hand side, it looks like there's a male with big black glasses taking a picture. It's very hard to see, but taking that bus video.
Well, I'm going to mute myself, and we are going to watch this video. It's about 17 minutes, but I feel like to get a full gist of what has transpired during this, we need to see the first portion of this video so that we can grasp what the video looks like, and then we can also take a look at what the bus routes would have been, because this will prove that the video posted on her Facebook could not have possibly happened. If what the detective told Sharon is true, and if what the bus route and, the tickets that back up that she was taking this route, where she would have been, that seems like a red herring. It seems
And,
like something that was posted as a distraction to what really happened. So I just feel like there's something suspicious that's happening, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
and her phone
So let's,
was pinged in Charlotte on that day. So that's kind of,
yes. Yeah, it's very bizarre, and we don't know the order of things because the detective has not been very transparent with the information that he has given us. He gives limited information, and then it's just these little tidbits, but he doesn't give us any specifics. He doesn't say I've seen video. It's just it's frustrating, and he will not call me back. Detective Sharp, if you're watching this video, please return my call or my email, sir, because I would really like to speak with you. Please. So let's take a look at this video, and I'm anxious to hear what the chat's response is to this, because it's going to be interesting. So let's over here and take a look at this. Can y'all put a 1 in the chat and let me know if you can see me sharing my screen? And while you're here, if you can go over and smash that like button for me. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and do that. And also ring that notification bell if you want to hear more about this case and other missing cases. All right, I'm going to mute myself out.
Judge, not stranger.
Is it not Sharon? No screen?
No
Oh, yeah.
screen.
Sharon thing. Hang on a second.
yeah, I'm not seeing it either. I'm just seeing me. I'm not
But you're
seeing you.
beautiful, Miss Sharon.
Oh, I love you.
I love you too, darling. touch, no sound. You got your screen sharing, but no sound.
Can you guys still not hear it?
No, you had the screen share, but it wasn't playing any sound.
Dang, I tell you what, this screen share, I'm going to punch this screen in about seconds. I don't know why it wants to do this. Okay, we're just going to do it like this.
Tell them no, Amber was not adopted.
All right, let's try this. All right, I'm going to mute myself out and we'll go back over and we will do this again, guys. Thank you for your patience so much. Hey, Prince Bubba. That's my son. Had to say hey. And thank y'all for being here. And I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to this case. All right. Can you guys see the screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself out. This is a video from Amber Johnston's Facebook on August 19th, 2021. This video appears to be taken from a bus that is traveling down a highway. We did establish that this bus route was in Alabama, specifically on I-20 in Birmingham, Alabama. Let's take a closer look at this road sign, Inslee Avenue. I Google searched this sign to prove that this is in Birmingham, Alabama, off of I-20. Here you can see the northbound drivers on I-20 enter the city of Birmingham 1 mile south of the split Diamond Interchange with Inslee Avenue and SR 269, which is 20th Street. The more that I review this case, the more that I've become concerned that Amber wasn't actually on this bus trip that went through Alabama. Her face was not seen in the video, and her voice was not heard. So I decided to do some investigation. I needed clarification to know exactly what the bus route from Bullhead City, Arizona to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina would have been. I also needed to establish what the bus route would have been from Bullhead City, Arizona to Greensburg, Pennsylvania. So we're going to take a look to see exactly what that bus route would have been and if Alabama would have been included in that bus route. This is Bullhead City, Arizona to Myrtle Beach. I selected a Tuesday as the date that she left would have been approximately on a Tuesday of 2021. Here you can see that it takes 3 days to get from Bullhead City, Arizona to Myrtle Beach. You can see this starts out in Bullhead City, Arizona, crossing into New Mexico, going through Amarillo, Texas, up through Tulsa, Oklahoma, into Missouri, crossing over to Illinois, Indiana, into Cincinnati, Ohio, down through Kentucky, Tennessee, across North Carolina, into South Carolina. Nowhere on this itinerary do we find Birmingham, Alabama. Let's go through the stops. Flagstaff, Albuquerque, Amarillo, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Joplin, Missouri, Springfield, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri. Now we're up into Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. There would be a bus transfer there. Then we got Cincinnati, London, Kentucky, Knoxville, Athens. Says it possibly goes into a transfer in Atlanta, Georgia. Columbia, South Carolina with 2 stops. That would be Sumter and possibly Aiken into Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Nowhere on this itinerary from a trip starting in Bullhead City, Arizona, going all the way to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, does it even include Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, or most of Georgia. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up with this video that we've seen on Rae Johnston's Facebook that was posted August 19th of 2021. Explain how Rae Johnston got off the Greyhound bus in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, according to Detective Sharp's information, and didn't reboard the bus if there was not a stop in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. How did her phone ping in Charlotte, North Carolina? It's possible that she was traveling near Charlotte, North Carolina, but there was not a bus stop. I need to make sense of this information. Did Rae Johnston request to get off the bus in Winston-Salem, North Carolina? A stop that was not on the itinerary? What exactly happened on that bus trip? You can see here listed all of the different stops that is on the itinerary from Bullhead City to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. there is no stop in Birmingham, Alabama, and there is no designated stop in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the itinerary for Greyhound would have been from Bullhead City, Arizona to Greensburg, Pennsylvania. So from Bullhead City, Arizona, it looks like it goes up to Las Vegas, to Utah, Colorado, Kansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, straight to Pennsylvania. There would be no stop in Alabama or North Carolina. Here is the specific itinerary at places that would be on the way to Pennsylvania with additional stops. Amber's mother was told by Detective Sharp from Bullhead City Police Department Amber made several changes to her route from the time she left Bullhead City, Arizona. The route did state that she was headed to Pennsylvania. However, Alabama is not included on an itinerary going to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If she was going to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and changed her mind during the route, it still would not have taken her through Birmingham, Alabama. We still have many unanswered questions. Why didn't Detective Sharp decide to get the camera footage from Winston-Salem to verify that it was her that got off the bus and didn't reboard? Why hasn't the camera footage been obtained from any of the Greyhound bus stations to establish that Amber Rae Johnston has been seen? Did Amber Rae Johnston travel through Flagstaff, Arizona? Was Amber Rae Johnston going to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina? Jarrett Ward was one of the last people to see Amber Rae Johnston alive, and he resides in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Jarrett Ward, I'm asking you to please come forward and speak to police. If you have any information on Amber's whereabouts with the people that she may have had contact with, if you know any information on where she might be, what may have happened, I encourage you to please reach out to law enforcement to let them know the information that you may have. I find it highly unlikely that this video on Amber's Facebook was an actual recording of Amber on a bus in Birmingham, Alabama. Jarrett Ward, please, for the sake of Amber's mother and her children, we are just asking you to please tell law enforcement any information that you know that can lead to Amber's location and whereabouts. Her safety is imperative. Her mother needs to know where she is. I have seen the charges where a lady named Amber DuBose was found with Amber Rae Johnston's EBT card in South Carolina in Horry County after Amber went missing. Who had access to Amber's bank cards, EBT card, to her phone, or even her bus tickets? Using a person's bank cards and taking their Social Security disability is a crime. It's a felony. Don't think that law enforcement isn't looking into this. There are specific laws about unlawful claiming of Social Security. That's punishable by 5 years in prison and a fine. That is Social Security fraud. If you have any information how that EBT card got sold to the inmate, or have any access to Amber's information, now would be the time, Jarrett Ward, for you or your friends that are involved to come forward and speak to law enforcement to clear your name. If anyone has any information they want to provide about Amber Rae Johnston and where she may be, you can reach out to me at dutchessforthemissing@gmail.com, or you can reach out to Libby @gmail.com. You can also contact Bullhead City Police Department. Ask for Detective Sharp at 928-763-1999. Okay. Thoughts in the chat about the video? Does anybody think that Rae Johnston was really in Alabama on the 19th when the video was posted? Because on the 19th, Detective Sharp says she got off a bus in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and that is also when she changed her ticket to go to Pennsylvania. Correct, Sharon?
Yeah, yeah. It's 7 in the
You
morning.
can't be two places. You can't be two places. There's no way she could make it in that amount of time on a bus from Birmingham, Alabama to Winston-Salem, North Carolina in the same day. Make that make sense.
Plus, she was telling him on his phone, according to the messages, "I love you. I'll be there in an hour." With what he showed me
Right.
from his phone, the little things that I did get when he got scared. So I don't know how she could. There's just no out. I mean, there's no way that video had anything to do with her.
Absolutely cracking case. Welcome. Thank you for being here. You know, I think the interesting part about that is that Amber was communicating with Jarrett via Facebook Messenger, and we have those messages. And it was a very odd conversation. Apparently there was a 7-minute phone call between Jarrett and Amber, and I really would like to hear that phone call. I'd really like to know, were they arguing? What happened on that phone call? Because that tells me he knew exactly where she was at. Because if they were talking, then there was something happening.
Yeah, he said he was talking to her. Was he talking to someone that had her phone that threw it out at Flying J's and used his food stamp card? That's what I'd like to know.
Right. And see, that is the next thing in line besides this Greyhound trip that we're so concerned with. Jarrett is the one that said, "Oh yeah, I know where that video is. That's in Alabama. That's coming to Myrtle Beach." Like, this is the guy who says, "I don't have anything to say. I will not speak to the police unless I have an attorney." So he has not given a statement to the police, yet he says, he tells Sharon, and Sharon, you do have the messages. I would never hurt Amber. I don't know why you think I know something or I have anything to do with this. He goes on into this, series of text messages, because he even spoke out about it. He never spoke out about it until Libby and I did a live stream, and where we went to a place that we thought was his residence and knocked on his door, because I was hoping that he would be willing to speak to me, to tell me what he knew, and take a flyer and say, you know her and she's missing. And he
You loved
didn't come
her,
to the door.
and you loved her, and you cared about her so much.
Yes.
He also
And
got a missing persons report in Myrtle Beach was proven to be false.
right, he told us that he went to the police department and filed a missing persons report. And once I spoke with Myrtle Beach police and Sharon spoke with Myrtle Beach police, they said there has been no one that has come forward to file any report in regards to Amber Rae Johnston missing. So that was a lie. Now, we also have to consider is that on this bus trip, where Detective Sharp says, okay, she got off the bus in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which wasn't a stop, by the way, on either, no matter where her ticket was going, Myrtle Beach or Pennsylvania, it is not a stop that is on the itinerary. So how did Amber Rae Johnson end up on a bus and stopping at a Winston-Salem Greyhound station? Did she ask to be dropped off specifically in Winston? Did something happen and she was like, I need to get off the bus? But then her phone pings in Charlotte. Now, when Sharon and I found out the information, Jarrett Ward had already disclosed to Sharon in a Facebook Messenger chat that, Amber used my EBT card at a Flying J truck stop gas station on Statesville Avenue outside of Charlotte. Okay, and this was before we knew about the phone ping. So I'm like, so Jarrett knew. He knew and said, Amber said she's going to be here in an hour. That's what that message said. So he felt like she was coming to see him. What changed? Why? They were supposed to be split up. He didn't want anything to do with her. Now, after Amber goes missing, her EBT card, because remember, he says that she used his EBT card at the Flying J at the soda machine. Now, after Amber goes missing, this was about, I think, December, wasn't it?
No,
Another Amber,
yeah, but
wasn't it?
her card, she didn't use her card in all of August because he sold her card.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is
Right.
he apparently, someone had access to her card, which we're thinking it was Jarrett, because after Amber went missing, Jarrett's, we're thinking he has the card because after that, an inmate at the J. Reuben Long Detention Center, which is about 30 minutes from where he lives, gets out of jail and uses the EBT card and gets caught. And her first name is Amber, but they realize that it's not Amber Rae Johnston. And by this time, Amber has already, nobody can find Amber. So, how did Amber go from Arizona all the way to North Carolina, but she's coming to South Carolina, but her EBT card is clearly in South Carolina because it's been sold?
Didn't he
You know,
sell her card before she even went missing, Miss Sharon?
Yes, he did. He sold her
Yes, he did.
numbers in July to a Jarrett Leary, and Jarrett Leary has been very cooperative and admitted it and admitted using it ever since.
We've asked Jarrett Leary to go to the police first. He is scared to go to the police because of his criminal record, and we encouraged him to do it first because he's afraid Jarrett Ward is going to turn on him. And Jarrett Leary, I said, listen, you need to go make a deal, right? Remember, Sharon, we talked about that. You need to go say what you know. Because, exactly, crimes have consequences. Probably sold it for drugs.
Well, that's
Of
what
course.
Jarrett Leary said he did. But Amber
So-
didn't know. Amber didn't know because I have messages from her that said he's talking to this Jarrett Leary. She didn't even know Jarrett Leary. She didn't know what he was doing in July, and that's when she kicked him out.
Yeah, because she had said, somebody's stealing my stuff, Mom. Somebody's stealing my money.
And if anything happens to me, it's Jarrett Ward and his mom, but they know you're on my side.
Yeah, there is a message that says that.
Miss
So-
Sharon, who was it that Jarrett sent the message to come out here so he could go home, and the message to come take care of her so I could go home?
He sent that. That's what Amber wrote. He wrote, Mom, why don't you come out here and be with her so that I can leave? In other words, like someone needed to take care of her.
Yes.
She wrote, do you believe he's telling this Jarrett Leary that? And that's at the same time that he must have sold that food stamp card. And Jarrett Leary was very forthcoming to me because he didn't want to get in trouble. So he showed me all the transactions and admitted using her SNAP benefits, her EBT benefits. And
Right.
without her permission.
Right. So as this case goes on, we find out about the EBT card being used here in South Carolina. Sharon, I picked this case up. Sharon reaches out to me and sees the video that I did about Amber. And so I decided to take this case under my wing. And I start researching. I start investigating. I start printing flyers, going around to all the places, looking up addresses, going to the homeless camp here in Myrtle Beach, talking to people, finding out if they've seen Amber. I've got several people in the area that are also hanging up flyers and asking questions. Libby and I have done some live streams about this. If you haven't watched those live streams or seen any of my other videos, they are under the Amber Rae Johnston playlist. I encourage you to, if you're interested in this case, please go back and watch those videos. It's crucial in how this case has unfolded to this point. But what we did end up finding out, Sharon and I were discussing, I said, how we can get Amber to possibly come forward is we need to find out if anyone has access to her bank account, because if somebody has access to sell her EBT card, there's a good chance they have access to her Social Security disability benefits. And Sharon, so tell them what you did.
Well, I kept telling Officer Sharp, you've got to look at her debit card, because she had pictures of them. I had the copies because she thought somebody was stealing off her when I knew in early July. And anyway, so I said, you have got to pull these records. You have got to see if she's using her money. You have to. And through his investigation, when he pulled them out, Jarrett Ward drained her accounts. He gave money to Jarrett Leary, the one he sold the SNAP benefits to. He gave money to his mother. He had stuff on, it's called JT Dubs. He did everything online, on phones, through PayPal, all the apps.
Cash App. Yeah, Cash App and PayPal. And the PayPal was in his mother's name. She actually did call Social Security Disability and told them about Amber being missing, and that she wanted to report that there may be, they wanted to check her bank account because she didn't have access to determine if the money was still in the bank or if it had been used. And it took some time, didn't it? But they did actually look into it and found her bank account empty. And it was tied to this PayPal and this Cash App, which is linked to Doris Ward, which is Jarrett's mother, and Jarrett Ward.
And Jarrett
money was,
Leary.
and Jarrett Leary.
Jarrett Leary. And
see, Jarrett Leary is still down here, by the way. He is still apparently in, I guess maybe he's still at the homeless camp.
yeah,
It's a dangerous area down there, so I haven't been down there without my husband.
and he used an AKA of Mike Armstrong as well. He sent money to himself. But then they closed the money out to see if Amber would surface and she was with him. And of course, nothing. So they closed everything out. Nothing. You see nothing of her. And they just let these people run free that just used all her money and all these circumstances without even questioning them.
That's right.
After they sat there and told me, after they sat there and told me these are federal offenses, we're going to bring them in. And
that's right.
Yeah, 6 months later, and this is where we're at.
Right. So to clarify for everyone in the chat, in February of 2022, Social Security Disability agreed that because her bank account was empty and there were some transactions that were questionable, they were going to report their findings to the police department, and they were going to close off her payments. So therefore, they were on hold. They were suspended. And in hopes that if Amber was out there and she needed her money, that she would respond to them by saying, hey, I need my money and I don't have any access to it. What happened? But see, it has been, now it's August, and there has not been one phone call to say, hey, you guys turned off my money. And so that leads us to believe that something has happened to her. So that's why we are very, very concerned, because that is a felony. And they could be pursuing charges. If they can trace the money, why isn't law enforcement coming out and arresting them and questioning them about the money? And then they can say, what do you know about Amber Rae Johnston missing? The reason that we were given is that, well, what if Amber gave them permission to take the money?
Yeah, right.
But Amber's not here to speak for herself, to say that she gave permission. And therefore, I feel that was a very inappropriate statement by law enforcement to say that to this mother. You can't just assume that she gave them permission. She's been missing for almost a year.
Exactly.
If she shows up, you can feel free to ask her at that time. But until then, they need to be questioned, because this is to me, this is federal. The card was from Arizona, the EBT card, and it was found used in South Carolina. That makes it federal. that makes it federal alone. If Jarrett Ward resides in South Carolina and she had residence in Arizona and he took that money out of her account, well, first of all, it's federal because you're messing with Social Security disability, and number two, it's crossing state lines. That's federal. I want to know why Detective Sharp is not taking this case more seriously, and I want to know why he told Sharon that the FBI wanted to get involved because of these fraudulent charges and or taking the money, and then he got back in touch with Sharon to say that they would just be assisting. No other information.
Amber also has in her messages that I gave to the detectives that in no way would she give Jared her money, and that she thinks that he's stealing, and she's not going to let him steal off her. And that was in July. So how can they say, how do we know she didn't give him the money? It's just absolutely wrong. It's wrong.
Yes, Joe Looking Ass, we can go above Detective Sharp. I told her that you needed to reach out to him, which she did send him an email today because she sent me a copy of that. And if he does not respond in a way that we feel is appropriate at this point, then we will need to go to his supervisor. We are also going to try to reach out to the FBI and find out how we can, confirm that they are assisting, because you have to be invited by the local law enforcement to assist on a case or to look at a case. I feel like they didn't need to be invited simply because of the charges.
And I have to add, someone wrote something. Jarrett Ward used the alias of Mike Armstrong. Jarrett Ward was in control of all of her money, and Jarrett Ward's the one that gave Jarrett Leary money and stole the food stamp information to him. So Jarrett Ward was in complete control of all of her assets, to be honest with you. Yeah, so his was Mike Armstrong, because when we looked it up, it was tied to his phone number. And that came from Officer Sharp as well.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jason Justice. Ellie takes an oath to protect and serve. They have an obligation to those who pay their salaries to follow that oath.
Sharon, I had a question. Did you have any verbal contact with Amber in August?
Hey, Benny Keys.
None.
See, I'm thinking what happened on the 8th was a planned thing. And this is, just my brain. Most that know me, my brain works weird ways. To see what would happen. I think what happened to her happened in Bull City. And, I have some questions for Jarrett. How did him and Jason, somebody that only knew Amber on the 8th for 2 days, how did they get connected? Jarrett, did you sell her into trafficking and prostitution in Las Vegas? Did you do this planned bus trip, switched all this stuff up to throw the family off? Because that's the only way it could be.
He also said to me early on, and it might even be on the messages, I'd have to look because he only talked to me once. But he said she was a pretty girl. She could have got involved in trafficking. He also said that to me, and I will have to go back to go through all the messages. But that is another thing. But he blamed everybody but himself. He was the innocent person that she would so wronged him.
Yes. This could have been for the little bit of money that she was getting in hopes to keep it up, that she's still out there, and Social Security would never see a difference in, they just keep sending it.
Yeah, that was her life. She knew her money. She wasn't stupid. She did. Then he said she might have made a wrong trip, got on the wrong bus because of drugs. Bullshit. My daughter was street smart. My daughter was smart. She didn't do that. She already went from Myrtle Beach out there. Myrtle Beach back. She already came back home from out there with him. And then she made the fatal mistake of going back there a year before. She would have never left here. But she knew how to navigate. The girl was not a dummy. She was not. She was very smart. She was a smart girl.
You know, this Jason guy is so bad. You know, the charges that he has, you know, make him look like he is a pimp in some of these abuse charges. So I'm just wondering, on the 8th, was that a setup?
Yep, I thought about that myself, and I think maybe he got stuck or something happened, and it didn't go through that day, but I think it went through before that, and I don't think she ever got on that bus. I think all those bus trips and all those things, whoever was doing that had her phone. I think it was just all set up.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Until law enforcement, that detective can say for sure that there's video footage of her getting off a bus, I mean, there's no proof they went by a ticket.
I don't think she ever on that bus. And
I don't either.
In New York, him being at a friend's in Las Vegas, him telling me that, and that guy being there, and I know how protective she was. She didn't have much, but what she had, she wasn't going to just give to somebody. So I don't know whether they were making her dope sick. I don't know what happened, but something happened. She was paranoid as it was. She wasn't going to do anything to someone in 2 days and leave all of her stuff there.
And they both had charges of fentanyl. Both of them did. And that's very concerning.
Ward, he was arrested for fentanyl.
Yes.
And this Jason Alexander Rice had multiple charges.
I do believe this Jason Alexander Rice is the key to what happened to her, and I believe it happened out there.
I do too. The more we've been digging, I really think he is.
Those bus trips and those videos that were posted and all these things on her site from that time on, those videos, that wasn't her MO. She didn't really do that. None of it made sense, and it was never her talking, never her writing anything. None of it makes sense. None of it. The bus pass, it was going from here to there to there to there. None of it makes sense. Someone had control of her phone, put that video from Ensley on there. Someone had it, because there's no way she was there if she did take that bus.
No. And the only way he could have it could have been done through I-20 to get down through there is if the ticket was changed in Amarillo. And
the officer already told me there was her bus route within her name that I don't believe she was on.
No.
It never went there. He already told me.
Very good observation. Gavel Geek says, interestingly, the bus video appears to be the only live video Amber ever published.
Exactly.
I don't ever remember doing anything like that.
I believe that what happened on the 8th was them to see what her family would do. The text message to you that month were to make her look like she was just completely off her rocker. And I believe what happened to her happened shortly after the 8th.
Yep. And
I truly do.
So do I. And I believe that Jarrett did come home, and I believe that Jarrett knows exactly what happened to her out there.
Yeah, we've talked about this many, many times, that we just feel like for somebody to say, I didn't do anything to her, I have no idea what happened. And then once I went out to his house, Libby knocks on the door, we start posting flyers and making YouTube videos, he gets very triggered. And the immediate response is, I'm not guilty. People are saying I'm guilty. My family's calling me. And then he just starts just spilling out all of this information that supposedly he knows nothing about. And you got to try to make that make sense.
And what was the 7-minute conversation on that phone? I don't think Amber ever had control of her phone. You know, in the very beginning of this, we always thought she never made it out of Bullhead area, out west. And that she never got on that. And I think first instincts are right, and I still believe that. I tried to believe that maybe she ran into bad people going this way, that way, but once you read the stuff that he writes, and she's coming there, and all the stuff that's just set up, it just don't pan out.
No, it doesn't.
And you love somebody
to
spend all of her money the minute you get out of jail? You have brass knuckles when you get arrested?
That's why we need the law enforcement to look into this case further. He has the ability, for instance, we have access to, you can see that there's body cam footage on August the 8th when she had this interaction with Jason Alexander Rice. But the only people who can access that is law enforcement, active law enforcement. So that's why, me reaching out to Detective Sharp and saying, hey, you could log in and you could say, yes, I visibly saw Amber on the 8th. Because that would be the last time, other than we know of, that, except for Jarrett Ward. I mean, we have to be able to make a determination and get these other this camera footage. Why didn't they do that?
I think it was a failed attempt on the 8th, but I think it happened after that. Something bad happened after that. I think somehow there was a failed attempt on the 8th. But I will tell you, I'm going to ask him. I want to see a video to verify that was her. Now, Armena said it was her, and so that's the only thing that makes me think it was her on August 8th that came back. But whether she wasn't in her right mind, something, but I feel in my heart, somewhere in that Las Vegas zone, that Jason Alexander Rice and all that, and I know Jarrett Ward knows
something
what
could have happened. Yeah, because if on that bus trip, if y'all remember on the video chat, when I played that video and I said, let's take a look at the route from Bullhead City, Arizona to Greensburg, PA. Okay. And when we did that, the bus trip didn't go out toward Flagstaff and into New Mexico. It actually went 90 miles north to Las Vegas, Nevada. What do you know about that? Well, remember, Jarrett Ward was in Bullhead City, had a little argument, and said, oh, I'm leaving Amber. I'm done with her, blah, blah, blah. And instead of going home to Myrtle Beach, he went 90 miles north to Las Vegas, Nevada to his friend. Isn't that what he said? And then got a Catholic charity to buy his bus ticket to Myrtle Beach home. How convenient is that? I don't buy it. And I've not seen 1 ounce of proof from Jarrett Ward. And Jarrett Ward says that he will not speak to police without an attorney. And I would like for him to go get one. Legal Aid provides one for free. But I do think that it's a sign you're willing to compromise and say what you know, because someone's life could be in danger. Jarrett Ward, please, we're begging you. Listen, if you weren't responsible, we just want you to say what you know and help Sharon and her children find out and know if Amber is safe, if Amber's even alive.
At one point, Dutchie, he said to me, and you should have that message, I'm going to be honest with you, Sharon, I don't think that she's with us anymore. Oh, how did you know that, Jarrett? How did you know that? Because you spent all her money and you knew it before you spent her money. Exactly. That's what I believe. Either that or she was in danger and he knew something happened. She didn't just have an overdose or anything. People just don't go missing. She'd be laying there. They don't hide them for that.
Yeah, if she was to have overdosed, I mean, there's no reason that nobody would just hide somebody's body.
Everything. Her whole backpack, everything. Everything was out of her apartment, but a couple pair of his clothes. He told me all her stuff was left behind. That was a lie, because I did hear from Armena. No, she took all her stuff.
That was on the original poster, by the way, from the Awareness Foundation of Virginia. It said that she left all her belongings behind. But what we found out was that was not accurate. That was not accurate. That's something Jarrett Ward said.
Yeah,
he sure does have a lot of knowledge to have not been there.
Jarrett, it's time. It's time to let this young lady's come home to her mother and give them closure. Turn yourself in or just tell what you know.
Yes, we have checked that route, and it still doesn't go through Alabama Nana for life. It sure doesn't. I've done so many bus routes. I feel like I've been on a bus.
Yeah, that's all I've done.
I have talked to Greyhound. I have asked them if they would be willing to release the footage to the mother. If we signed a FOIA release, the mother signed a FOIA release, would they release it to us? And no, they said they would need to have the police would have to get it with a warrant. She said, but they record over and over tapes. She said they probably didn't have it. And I was like, but did the police officer even ask that question? Like, because Detective Sharp only do like little pieces of pie, just enough sweetness to think that he thinks is going to satisfy you, but he doesn't really give a lot of detailed information. And I feel like that Sharon is owed that much. And you should be able to go in and ask to sign a FOIA release to be given all the information that he has access to, whether he got it officially or unofficially. I mean, and if we don't get the answers from him, then we're going to find somebody that will give us the answers. If I got to call everybody at that department, I'm just going to blow their phone up. I'm just going to blow their emails up. I mean, who's in Arizona? Somebody let me know who's nearby Arizona in that area. I mean, if somebody can reach out and tell me, I mean, just let me know. There's just so many missing people. I realize that a lot of local departments don't have the resources and the funding, but there are people out here that are willing to do the legwork, people that are out here willing to do the research. If he can't carry out his job duties, just like Bella said, there's people out here that are willing to help. You know, we are a plethora, huge fountain source of information out here in these YouTube streets. This is what we do. We share these cases. We find out information.
And here's the thing: her phone last pinged in Charleston, and I live in Pennsylvania.
No, in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, I'm sorry. He told me at Flying J, someone used might have bought a soda with his thing, and it was her, which didn't make sense because she wasn't using her own. So my thing is her phone? Is there woods around there? Anyone from Charlotte? Is there woods around there somewhere that they would have thrown her phone out of there? Or did he shut it off? I feel like maybe we can find her phone. I don't know.
Can you guys see this? Can you guys see this screen?
I can see it.
Yes, Deb.
This is a beautiful timeline that was created by the lovely Jenny from Gavel Geeks.
Wonderful.
And I adore her so much. And this timeline is still in the works. But as you can see, she has the dates here to the left. And she has facts we have. And then she has the combined timeline, which is in the dark blue. And then she has the yellow, which is Sharon. And then the gray is Jarrett Ward. The green is Jarrett Leary. And then we can just add whatever else we need to add in there. You know, somebody else that I spoke with that is going to go on this timeline is Kashawn. Remember Kashawn, Sharon?
Yep.
After I got a hint that Jarrett might be homeless and was going back and forth to Kingsport, not Kingsport, Bucksport, South Carolina, which is about an hour south of me. We made a trip. Libby and I made a trip, and to this one road town with one store and one fire station. And we just started hanging up flyers, and we just started talking to people. And we got a lot of crazy looks, like, what are these people? They don't fit in here. And sure enough, this guy walked up to us on the street, and he was somebody that was homeless, and he's from Bucksport. And he knows Jarrett Ward, and he knows Amber. Yes, he does. And he had a lot to say. He used to see Amber and Jarrett all the time. And I'm going to give Keshawn a call. He hasn't answered my call so far, but I'm not going to stop calling him. I may have to make another trip, y'all, to get back down there because I have questions that I need to ask. I want him to talk to me again, and I want to just hit him with some hard facts. Ask him if he's seen Jarrett Leary lately. Ask him if he's seen Jarrett Ward. Have they been back down to Bucksport? Have they talked about Amber? Has he talked to them?
Someone wrote, did Jarrett Leary or Ward report his card missing? No, he didn't. He never did. He just said, oh, I thought Amber used my card. No, Amber didn't use his card because he sold her card. She didn't use her own card for the SNAP benefits over in Charlotte. So no, he didn't report it. He never said that. He didn't think she stole anything. It was only like a 50-cent charge or something.
And Autumn Haynes, we're trying to get the news stations to pick this up. I have emailed them. They have not picked up the story. Gavel Geeks is helping me work on that to get the story hopefully picked up by a nation out in Arizona. And then we're hoping to distribute it to other news stations in North Carolina and South Carolina to see if they'll run the story.
There's a Facebook Kingman site that they've been pretty good by posting Amber's or my missing Amber Rae Johnston Facebook page, and they've actually every time we write stuff they put it on there. So that was like really a positive. They let me use the page as the like and was letting it be posted. So
and I just want to say thank you to everyone who has shared information. Just you guys don't realize the power of social media. Sharing flyers around, like you never know when it's going to come in front of somebody's face that says, "Hey, I've seen that person," or "I think I might know something," and it would encourage them phone call because had people not been sharing that information out, it may not have gotten to that person's in order for them to say, "Hey, I know this person." It's so critical. It's so critical when you have someone that's missing and no one has seen them because somebody out there has. It's just we haven't yet. I also want to find out who that guy is on the bus. The guy that in the picture that's on the bus. There was a snapshot. Let me see if I can pull that up on my Facebook. Try to see if I can find it on. I think that picture comes from Amber page too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it did. Said, look at this dude, and that isn't how she talked, by the way, but.
Okay. All right, let me share my screen here. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Are y'all able to see that? Here's the guy. This picture was posted at the time around when this this is August 17th, 2021. Still sleep. Damn. This is not Jarrett Ward, y'all. He has hair down to his shoulders. So my question is, who is this guy? I don't necessarily think he's done anything, but I would like to thinking about making a poster and just circulating it around and just asking, like, does anybody know this guy? Because we just want to ask him, does he recognize Amber's face? Can he say if she was on that bus?
Or does he know he was on this bus?
Yeah, or does he know Jarrett Ward?
Yes.
These are all extremely important questions because is this a random person or is this somebody that is with the person that's on the actual bus trip? And I don't necessarily think he's done anything, but I do want to ask him some questions. I do want to ask him some questions. Look, here's another picture. This dude knocked himself out. He's out like a light.
That doesn't sound like her either. That's very bizarre. I just feel like that guy right there didn't do anything wrong, but that guy, he would be able to pinpoint this trip. He would know if he's seen Amber or who was on that bus. I wish we could find him.
Me too. Me too. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. And there's the famous bus trip right there. She's such a beautiful girl.
She is.
Hmm.
I just don't think he realized that she had a mama that was going to fight tooth and nail.
Look at this post. Look at this comment from James Walker. Jarrett Ward, you better get your MILF. You be crazy to let her go too far for too long. What?
Wow.
Oh my, wow. I'm telling you. People are disgusting.
Sharon, can you share some good memories of your baby?
Oh. Other than struggling with drugs, even though she was a kind soul. And, you know, we were just praying for her to come home. She was fun. She was always smiling. She loved her kids. She would call them. She was always asking other people online, you know, how are my kids? And, you know, and I just always had hope she was going to come around, because even when she was gone, she was just a sweet soul in her heart. She was a sweetie. And
She's your baby.
yeah, we tried to help her all we could. We always went on vacation in Ocean City. I took out while she was peeing. She was a sweetheart. She played softball for like 8 years, and she was a kind soul.
She's cute.
She deserved
Her
justice.
daughter looks a lot like her.
Oh yeah, she does, and her
Oh
friends
yeah.
loved her too. And I just feel like if she could have just gone home this time, things would have been different.
Yeah.
That's all. I just, you know,
She's
I
such
just
a
wish
sweet
she would have
baby.
been back home. She didn't deserve this,
Look
and
how
nobody
cute.
deserves that. Nobody.
Yeah. Oh, that's my post. I was trying to get over here to these photos. And see, here, this is Jarrett Ward. He's a character, y'all.
He knows what happened to her.
I sure would
We're
like to
just gonna
talk to
get
him.
law
Or I'd like
enforcement on this.
Yeah,
Send something,
absolutely.
and just let us have our peace and let us know where our daughter and mother is.
No, honey. We're not going to stop. You've got a group of women that don't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
That's right.
This is what we do. We're here, and you know that if you need us to be on the phone with you when you call the FBI, law enforcement, you just call me.
Yeah, we have to talk, because I'm not sure.
You have my number. You're available. I'm available anytime,
'Cause
anytime, day or night.
when I talk to him, I'm going to ask him if I could have someone else on, because we're trying to find her and investigate it. So I'm not sure how to have us both on when he does call. I'm going to ask him if we can do that. And if he doesn't tell me why, if he says no, I'm going to ask him why. And if anyone has any questions they think I should ask him, please write it down. And because I'm going to ask him every single question, and then I want to repeat. I want everyone to know what his answers were to me, because I felt like he was being helpful, but I felt like, you know what, this is just a file under the file cabinet, and it's solvable. She had a trace.
Yes.
She had a trace. She had a medical card. She had SNAP benefits. She had Social Security disability. She had a trace. You can't tell me that if you would go over it with me and I'd say, look, this looks like something she would do on her card. This don't look like something. Maybe we could go from here. There's a trace. It's solvable. It's solvable to at least try to find about where she's at or who was with her.
Exactly.
I believe that in my heart, and I know it. It just takes a little bit of work.
Dutch, could you share screen on the tattoos that she has? Maybe some of the guys in chat can help us look through the Facebook groups for unidentified people, bodies they found. And
Yeah, that's pretty much what we've been doing, guys, is we've been going around to all the different sites and just trying to see if she's out there somewhere and she just hasn't been identified. So let me get over here to my screen.
there are so many.
These are her two tattoos. The wrist says Jeff in cursive, and it's got a date 10/20/2000, 10-20-00. And then on her ankle, it looks like some type of flower, maybe like a lotus with a stem coming out of it.
There are so many unclaimed people. It's
Yes.
unbelievable.
We did do
Well,
DNA, and that was another question of mine to him. Do you have my DNA in your files? Are you submitting it to CODIS? Or are you spending the money to process it or not? Because I didn't. He sent me something, but it stopped. So I don't know. The PA State Police got me and her daughter's DNA, and it got forwarded. They got it. So now I got to know where is it in the process. I got to find that out as well.
it's taken a little bit of time, but we're not going to give up. We're going to stay focused, and we're going to continue to reach out to Detective Sharp. And if we don't get the answers that you are satisfied with, then we're just going to take it to the next level. I'm sure that there's plenty of people here in the chat that support that would be willing to write a letter on your behalf, that would be willing to make a phone call, to send an email, to do whatever they need to do in order to say, hey, this young lady's missing, and it doesn't seem like anybody's taking this seriously, and we need for there to be some consideration.
We got a 10.
Detective Sharp, there's always somebody higher than you.
If they seen her on the 8th at that report about the drowning, we've got a 10-day span between looking at her, what she used her cards for, what was going on. We got a 10-day span that they have to work with. That's not that hard. That could be solvable. There was no questions asked to me, no nothing. They never went to Armena. That her neighbor, Kevin, said he had some information where she lived. They never went there. They never questioned anybody. They never did anything like that. All they did was honestly sit at the desk and ask for reports.
Yeah. Fizzle says call on a freeway and don't let him say no, and draft a uniform email so everyone can see it. I agree.
Maybe we'll have to do that Monday, Dutch.
Thank you, Fizzle. I got time today. Well, not tomorrow, because I do have to go to the doctor tomorrow. But when I get back, I have time.
You call me, let's do it.
And Autumn Hayes, yes, we have. Jenny is actually already working on getting that news article out to a news station in Arizona. She has a connection. And so I've already emailed the news station and gotten no response 3 times. So we are going to handle it in a different way, a different write up, and try to send it in a different way in hopes that they will pick it up. I'm also still in the works of speaking with a local billboard company to find if they would be willing to run Amber Rae Johnston's information free for a week or 2 weeks or 30 days or whatever they're willing to give me. I have a few people I know that work for the company, and I'm hoping that I'll get a good response. I'm not going to be collecting money, guys. Don't be looking for a billboard scam situation here. There's no money to be collected. I'm asking them to do it out of the graciousness of their heart to at least put up awareness because I want to trigger Jarrett Wolf to be uncomfortable in his skin, that he will want to come forward and just because if he hasn't done anything, there shouldn't be any reason why he can't give his statement to law enforcement. He's not guilty of anything.
Exactly.
Especially.
And I do have more flyers, and I'm going to be continuing to post those flyers out this week. So just got some printed. Yeah, that's a good idea, Fizzle. That's a good idea. I like it. I like it a lot. Maybe you can help me write it. Because I've only got 40 tabs open on my computer and 13 in my head, and I'm right now. I'm having trouble even focusing on anything else. But I'll tackle that this week.
I want to thank everyone that was listening, and Dutchie, you, and all the people that have been helping and come forward with our conversation. I want to thank everyone, and I just, I hope we find Amber. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I wanted to share Sharon's Cash App if anybody wanted to support her or her kids and their mission to trying to get these documents or whatever they may need wise to do what they're doing. So far, I have just, paid for my own flyers and gas and everything, and Sharon's been gracious and wonderful in helping me do what I need to do in order to get her daughter's case out there and the flyers out there. But she wouldn't let me share her case, so that's why it's not on there. I just wanted you guys to know that.
And I just want everybody to know that Sharon's just not Amber's mother, but she's also taking care of Amber's children. And she's a great grandmother and a great mother.
Liked Amanda Page, that would be great if we could hire a private investigator, but that takes money. And I don't know how much that would be. I mean, it's something that we could ask, but I don't know anybody that works for free. And, Sharon is taking care of Amber's kid and working, and she has her hands full. I don't know that she can actually afford that avenue and that she has to do. But it comes down to that, and we can, fundraising is a hard thing to do right now. But it could be something that we could consider. Anyone who wanted to privately fund something like that, we could talk about those things. Crowdsourcing can be a beautiful thing when it's done correctly.
And I think the investigator right now is we're not sure which side of the country she's at and where we would get one at to be able to focus. We kind of thought about that too, but it's like, you get someone from the Arizona area, do you get someone from the North Carolina? We got a large span there that we're just not quite sure about. And what are the police going to give them for information?
Right.
It would be
right. And when I did call these other departments, what they told me was, the police department that missing case investigation need to reach out to us. That's what I was told. So it's still
Yeah.
in detective hands. You know, I can call every police station in the country, but they're not necessarily going to do anything because there is an open missing case for her out of Bullhead City, Arizona, and they have to be invited or they have to be spoke to by that lead detective that's handling that case in order to be, I guess, briefed on all of that information.
And so
No PD we straws. We have not contacted Nancy Grace. Do you think we should?
I love Nancy. But you know
And
what? In
Me too.
like Horry County, they're happy she was last there because they don't want nothing to do with it. It's your case. So even though he said they were all working together to bring them in, it was not true. I don't believe it because they never did it. And I think Horry County just could care less because she was out there. They have no proof that she's in Myrtle Beach, which is probably true. So they just don't want to do nothing. They aren't even going to look at it. They aren't even going to try. So
see, this is the thing that I don't understand with Detective Sharp. If he saw video evidence that she got off that bus in North Carolina, why didn't, since that was the last place that she got off, why hasn't he contacted Winston-Salem police and said, this is a missing persons we thought was out of here, but I just saw her get off the bus there, so now it's y'all's case. Because that would be the last place she was seen. So I don't understand, if he saw that way, why that hasn't been done.
Yeah, he should have been happy with that because if he would have seen her, he could have given it to them.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. I would have said, let's try.
Detective Johnson was pretty rude to me when I went down there. He did not want to speak with me. He was like, there is no investigation. We just learned about such and such. Who are you? What do you want? Just the eye roll, the whole dismissive behavior with me. He did not he didn't care. And I'm looking at him face to face and I'm like, wow. Okay. So I got nothing out of that.
I was in that office and they didn't care either. And I called. Then they told the other lady, the kind lady that was helping me down there as well. We talked. She went back in. He said she never called us back or we called her back. It was a lie because I had every single one of my calls that day and he never called me back. They just don't care. Yeah. So so that's the hard part with getting a private investigator. I mean, if I really thought I had something solid that I could pinpoint or that they would help me, even Sharp would, if they could get me somewhere where I think I could get, I'd do it. I'd pay for it. I'd do it. But it's such a span that I'm not sure where we get. Maybe that's something
Right.
I'll have to ask Sharp. But I think they could do a little better at their job as well, to be honest with you.
You could sign a FOIA request to say, I want to know when the FBI was brought in exactly, when they were informed. I want to know all the information that you talked to the FBI about, and I want to know who you spoke with at the FBI so I can confirm that they are assisting. There should be no reason that he can't offer you that information.
Thank you, because I believe the third time they did submit it, but the other times he told me they were working with them, I don't believe it was true. And that's one of my questions. Thank you. I'm going to say I want to know all 3 times when you told me that the FBI was helping and you were going to bring these guys in. I wanted dates and who you talked to because I know it wasn't all true. None of it was true. It was pacifying me to move, to forget about it.
Yeah, and see, that's another reason I think the 8th was a setup for these guys because, they reported her, a missing report went out then. And so now with all this, it makes it look like she's just walked off and, you know what I'm saying? They're not taking it seriously because it's already happened one time.
Yeah, but that time she really didn't walk off. She went back.
No. That's why I think it was a setup by Jason and Jared.
I think Jason has definitely something to do with this. There ain't no doubt in my mind. When I found out about that incident, And the landlord said this was so bizarre. We never seen this guy ever in our life. I believe in my heart that Jason Alexander has something to do with this.
Yeah.
Crystal, where did she meet who? Which person? Are we talking about Jarrett Ward? Are we talking about... She met Jarrett Ward here in Myrtle Beach. She was in a relationship with someone else, and that ended, and she hooked Jarrett Ward, and because this is where she was staying. So that's how she got in a relationship with him. They were homeless, and basically the only reason they were able to rent a room or a hotel room was because they were living off of her Social Security disability check. I think it was just it was all about the money, is what it sounded like to me. That's why I wanted to speak with Jarrett, because I was hoping that he would be forthcoming and wanting to help find Amber, and that he would be willing to tell me whatever he knew. Because if someone cares about somebody else and they thought that person was coming to meet them and they didn't show up, they would be concerned. They would reach out to her mother. They would reach out and say, hey, Amber was supposed to come here, but she didn't show up. But that's not what happened at all. That's what really concerns me about this. It concerns me that the mother thought that this video from Facebook on August 19th was actually her going through Alabama, even though she wasn't on the video, even though her voice couldn't be heard. And then it just goes to show, when you do a little research, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. That's why this is so important. We have a mother who is now a grandmother. She just became a grandmother months ago. She doesn't even know she's a grandmother. Children miss her. Her mother misses her. They just want to have some peace and know, is she still alive? Is she safe? Is something happened to her? They deserve to know. They deserve to know so that they can move on with their lives and make peace with whatever the situation is. They deserve that because they actually love and care about her. And that's what we're trying to provide here today, is try to find some hope and some answers, because they're out there. It's just we have to find the right people to help us. And I have a great team. I have a great team that is assisting me right now with the timelines and the research and putting all of these things together so that we can make it make sense. I have people that are sharing this out to all of these different missing pages on Facebook. I have people that are looking at these sites for the missing and unidentified to see if we find Amber on one of those pages. If there's any other sources of information that you guys in the chat think that we need to be doing, let us know. You can always send me an email. I do have Facebook under Dutchess Discussion. Shoot me an email. Send me a message on Facebook. Can you guys hear me now? I don't know what happened to my sound. I think Sharon dropped. Sharon, if you got the link, you're welcome to come back up. I don't know
That
what
was
happened.
weird. It was, I mean,
That
I
was
totally
weird.
froze everything. It was just so weird. I
know, I
couldn't
did
hear
too.
you.
Hey, I think, I don't know, you dropped, I froze, everything went crazy there for a second. Can y'all hear us fine now? Everything good? Can you hear me, Sharon? Okay. Where was I at? I was in the middle of a thing and y'all couldn't even hear me. That's classic. That I was saying that, you know, collectively, I'm a mother, Sharon's a mother, and Jarrett Ward's mother, Doris. Um, I'm just asking you, if your son is innocent and he doesn't know anything, then what he does know about the last time that he saw Amber or whatever transpired, whatever it is, um, if it was your child that was missing and Amber knew something and she wasn't speaking, wouldn't you want her to come forward to say anything that she knew about where Jarrett Ward was at? I know you would. And we're just asking for Jarrett to say whatever information that he might know that could help locate Amber. Nobody's saying that he's guilty. But if he did do something with her money, you can be sure that law enforcement's looking into it. That has nothing to do with us. I just really, really, really want anyone that has seen Amber or that has had any contact with Amber before she left, I encourage you to please reach out to Bullhead City Police Department, to Detective Sharp, and just say what you know. Sharon and her and Amber's children deserve answers. That's true. If he was innocent, Bella, he wouldn't be saying that he needed to speak to a lawyer before he talked to police. Yeah, let her in.
You know, this reminds me of Gabby Petito case so much, but the difference is, why isn't this case getting the traction that it needed? Is it because that Amber wasn't a Little Miss Sunshine and, you know, she had problems, but that's not right.
Yeah, it's not fair to just judge her on the fact that she struggled with addiction.
Yes.
Nobody's perfect, but it doesn't mean that she's not loved and that her life doesn't matter. I mean,
Exactly.
look at her mother's
And that's what
face. Look at
haunts me
Sharon's
with
face.
this.
I have seen this woman cry her eyes out to me because, listen, her mother does not condone her behavior, but she still loves her child and she wants her to, she's offered to help her go to rehab. She has taken care of her children. She loves her daughter. This is her only child, y'all. I mean, she works, she does all of the things. She is a wonderful mother and grandmother. And she has been put through way too much. This has been drawn out way too long. If somebody knows something, we encourage you to please come forward. Please.
And we're also asking all creators, please help us get the word out, please.
Yes, if you have a channel and you would like to speak to Amber's mother, or you would like to cover this case, please feel free to do that. You can, if you want to, ask me any details about this case. You can. I'm willing to come on anyone's panel. Whatever it takes to help get the information out there, we can work together to spread the information out among all the channels, because the more people that see this case, somebody might know something, guys.
Yes.
If you are a true crime creator, or you know a true crime creator who would like to talk about this case or would like to cover this case, you can tell them to email me at Dutchess for the Missing. missingperson@gmail.com. Please reach out to me. I have Facebook also. I'm willing to talk to anyone that's willing to talk about Amber Rae Johnston. That's what's important to me,
Exactly.
is finding this young woman. Because Sharon and I have become very good friends, and I care about her, and I care about her grandchildren. We're bonded for life now, and we're not going to stop until we find her. Okay,
Exactly.
And we're going to find her.
we will. We will. We're not going to give up. Y'all making me get emotional.
Don't you do that, Dutch. You'll get me started.
Hey, puppy, I love you too. The puppy's getting emotional too. Are you getting emotional too?
Okay, I'm going to sign off and let's.
Okay. Well, we will wrap it up, Sharon.
And
If
we're
you
gonna,
want to come back, next week or sometime soon and, chat more about this case, people may have more questions.
yes, any
We
questions?
may get some more information.
Absolutely.
You can
Absolutely.
just let me know.
Share,
And
and
hopefully,
take care of your health first.
yes, and hopefully
I
this
will.
week you'll get answers and we can come back
Yes.
sometime coming week with some answers.
Yes. I'm going to
Yes,
get
get some purple hearts and prayer hands in the chat for Miss Sharon and her grandchildren, please. Please show her some love and appreciation for having the strength and the want to come up here to talk about her daughter and share all of this valuable information with us, because this is critical to this case.
So hopefully we'll
Sharon,
talk to the police today or tomorrow, this week, and then I'm going to ask them to do a three-way. I think that's a definite. Let's do it.
Yes.
That way they
absolutely.
know it's not only me; they know there's others listening too.
Yes.
We will do it. We will do it. Sharon,
I'm
thank you so much.
game.
Okay, we can do a four-way.
Yes, Sharon.
We
Yes.
can do whatever you need. You know how to reach us. So you just reach out to us, let us know when you're ready to do it, and we will make a plan to do that. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about it here, in a week or so, and give everybody an update and let them know what we have found out. So
That sounds great. Thanks, girls. I love you.
love you too, Sharon.
Love you too,
Take
baby.
care. Bye bye. Okay, guys. That was Miss Sharon Johnston. And I just want to thank everybody. Thank you, BVK, for being here. Thank you,
Oh, honey.
Nightbot. Nightbot, I'm fixing to put you in timeout because you have been ugly while I've been on the screen, Nightbot. Now, calm down, sir. Thank you to everyone in the chat who has been here to support Sharon and her family, to talk about this case again. Sharon has been on my channel before, but we were silent for a while because we were told that the FBI was involved and they did not want to speak in about this case. And then we found out the FBI wasn't involved, and it's been a one of those things. So we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to talk about this case till the cows come home. And I'm hoping that other creators will see this video and they will say, wow, this case is really crazy. We need to talk about this case. If you want to reach out to me, Dutchess for the Missing, that's number 4, Dutchess for the Missing @gmail.com. Please email me. I am a source of information, a fountain of all things Amber Rae Johnston. And I have such a wonderful team, and I want to give a shout out to my team that's working on this with me. Look at BBK's beautiful board back there. Let me highlight this board right here. Oh my goodness, guys. Look at that. That makes my heart happy. Thank you, creative.
We're going to do this with every case. We'll make a board for each of them.
And Chasing Justice,
And
I appreciate you offering. I need to bring you into my fold because you have some areas that we need that is a concern. You have sources there, and I am so grateful for you offering to help us. Sharon has become such a wonderful personal friend throughout this case, and I've heard her children cry, her grandchildren cry to me because their heart is broken because one just had a birthday and all she wanted was for her mother to call her. And I went to bed that night and cried because I had to just get on my knees like I always do and pray for all of these missing kids and missing people, that somebody out there is searching as hard as I'm searching for the people that I'm searching for.
exactly.
Like we're searching for Summer Wells. Because I know that Summer Wells matters to a lot of people in this community, guys. Well, that's how it is for me and Rae Johnston's family. Just because she's not a little kid doesn't mean that she doesn't matter and that people don't love her and want her to come home.
Yes.
So we have the timeline Jenny's working on. And I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. And the next time I go live, I want to focus more on the timeline, get all the little ins and outs with the different people, what they have said, so we can look at those converged timelines and try to make more sense of this. If you live in the Charlotte area and want to get a flyer to hang up in the Charlotte area, please reach out to me at my email or on Facebook. And if you live anywhere in Winston, which I think Elizabeth Lander said she is going to go put out some flyers, if there's anyone else that wants to get some flyers, please do reach out to me. I'm happy to share them with anyone who wants to print them out. And I just appreciate you guys being here to listen, in on this case. Hopefully, I see Level Headed in the chat. He covers a lot of missing cases. I hope that Arctic Fox, I didn't get to see if he was here. I was hoping Arctic would come over because I did ask him if he would share this case. I'm just hoping that we have a lot of great small channels out here that cover missing cases, and this is what we do. I mean, we are doing the damn thing. So this is how we get missing people found, and we bring these families some peace of mind.
And I'd also like to say, Dutch, if anybody has problem printing flyers, if they could just get in touch with you and an address, and I can print as many needed, and I will send them. I'd be grateful to send them.
Okay. Excellent. Same here. That's good to know. Thank you, Level Headed. I appreciate that. And I want to just thank all of my mods for doing such a great job. Nightbot, we're going to have a private conversation when I get off this train. Because you be timing out some of my favorite people here. I don't know what's up with that. I also would like to ask if the chat would be willing to put some prayer hands and purple hearts for Krama Mama in the chat.
Yes, we love you, lady.
And I want to tell you that I'm so very sorry, and I want to hug you, and I can't. So this is my virtual hug to you right now. If you need anything, please reach out to me.
Right, Dutch. I want to thank you for letting me come up for my first time ever.
Absolutely, you are such a gem, and I really appreciate all of the hard work. And you're such a blessing. Thank you for being here.
Oh, I love you, lady. And till the wheels fall off.
That's right. So I will talk to you soon. Take care of yourself. Right. We'll catch up later.
Okay, bye.
Okay, guys. I just want to say hey to all the people in the chat that I didn't get to say hey to because I had to get the damn thing done. Thanks for being here. I love all of you guys so much. I am going to try to go live later on this week to talk about a couple of other cases. And yeah, I know Nightbot he's on a rant. He's fired. I don't know. I'm going to have a private conversation with him. Nightbot, I'm coming for you. So I hope that you guys enjoyed hearing about this case. I've been covering this case, like I said, since about the end of February, 1st of March, when I first picked it up. And hopefully we'll be able to get some more answers. As I find out any new information, we'll be putting out more little tidbit videos with things that I find out. We'll be working on that timeline. And then hopefully we'll be able to get Sharon back on here in the next week or two so that we can come back and talk about all things. Get your questions together. If you guys have questions that you want to ask her, things you didn't think of at this live, get those things together, and then, we'll meet back here soon. Same Dutch time, same Dutch place, probably on a Sunday afternoon, just like we did today. And we'll talk about Rae Johnston. So I look forward to seeing you guys around this week. I'm going to be talking about a few other cases, and I really appreciate you guys being here. Prayers and hearts for Rae Johnston's family. Amber, if you're out there and you see this video, please call your mother and let her know that you're okay. Jarrett Ward, if you know any information, I'm just begging you. If you loved Amber and you cared about her, please go to the police and just tell them anything that you know. We just want Amber to come home safe. We just want to know that she is okay. And if there's something that's happened, her mom they need to know. They need to be able to have closure in this case. So we always believe in innocent till proven guilty, and we just want that if you don't know any information and you don't have anything to hide, if you see something, always say something. Share those posters out, and until next time, guys, I will see you in the YouTube